Good morning. Yeah. Good morning, viewers at home. You are tuned in with me. My name is Mohana for BBTV, and today we've got a special guest. We are coming to you live from SUK in the Selangor. All right, and joining me today this morning is YB Ganapati Rao. All right, YB Ganapati Rao is a Malaysian politician. He is also the Selangor State Government Exco member from DAP, which is a coalition party in the Pakatan Harapan coalition. YB Ganapati Rao is also the vice chairman of the DAP Selangor State Committee, and finally a member of the Selangor State Assembly, or better known as Ahli Dewan Negeri Selangor, for the state seat of Kota Kemuning. Right, YB?
Yep.
All right, so we would like to welcome YB to the program called Mitra Or Mishap. YB, first of all, thank you so much for taking your time and joining us for our segment today. Okay. Yeah. So we will just have this to be a very casual and informal session, since it's already a Friday, so we don't have to be very serious about things like and all that, YB. Okay. So of course you've already heard, as we've discussed over WhatsApp and over the phone, we are going to talk about Mitra and what has been said in Parliament, and the statements and the news that you have released on your Facebook pages and all that, YB. So, in a gist, do you think we can straight jump into the topic?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to BBTV, Big Blue TV, and then Mr. Mohana. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to explain myself. Regarding Mitra,
so let's just say, in layman term, in your own words, for the people for the viewers out there, because we've got Indian, Chinese, Malay, and some of our viewers are also from overseas. So let's just explain it to them. What is Mitra, which is a Malaysian Indian transformation unit, right? So, in your own words, YB, could you please explain what is the function of it?
Okay, remember that Mitra was formed is another way. Previously, before 2018, it was 2018. Before that, it was called as SIDIC. It is all due to 2008. Before 2007, because INRAF movement, it has been highlighted in all the medias, in also outside Malaysia, that how much the Indian has been discriminated and marginalized. So because of all the government policy not directly benefiting, or in a way had been left over Indians' interests, so that caused when Dato Sri Najib became Prime Minister, he came up with a few plans, and then at that time MIC also come up with a big plans called as Indian Blueprint. So many program has been designed to help Indians. So something like a Tekun, and also we still remember there was a special allocation for farming, chili farming, and so on. Then finally they come out with this call it as SIDIC, where 100 million was allocated. So by then also we have no information so and so much, or any accounts or audit report prior to 2018. When 2018 changes was happened in Malaysia, first time in history ever, the ruling government or coalition government in Putrajaya, after our independence, first time we managed to break through. When then Mr. Vedamurthy was made as a senator, then by then Tun Mahathir made him as a minister, and then he formed SIDIC, turned out to be transformed into called as Mitra. So Mitra was allocated 100 million then. Even then, they had been tried to identify the issues pertaining to Indians, and then to program being set accordingly. Because before that, there was big allegations, all the money has been siphoned under name of NGO or programs which not really benefiting Indians. That's the allegation, which comes to true also. But then when Vedamurthy was there, then he tried to be in 2018, honestly nothing was done much. Because they said, because election was held in June, and then the appointment of minister and so on, so nothing was done. In 2019, Then the Minister of Unity Minister, they call Mr. Vedamurthy, they come up with the Mitra's own website. Then also Mitra was, remember, it was Jabatan, not a particular called as Jawatan Kuasa. That time the officer itself called, Jusabi, the ranking of the Mitra's Pengara is, so the power is much better in Vedamurthy time, where the fund 100 million was allocated. Then they also come up with a web page saying that what's the program they are doing and how much allocation was given. So this was happened in 2019 in Epuali. By then, if you see in 2020 when Sheraton move was done, so all the previous program has been put in hold, and then 2020 because of the Sheraton move, because of the government collapse with the betrayal, then finally they come up with a new unity minister, which is called a Malay minister who going to look after Indian affair. So then Mitra was parked under her, but this time Mitra no more called as Jabatan, it called as Jawatan Kuasa. The ranking of the Pengara from suddenly Jusabi become N54. So the officers has been, I will say most of them has been cut down. The size of the officers has been largely become smaller group. And then the fund in 2020, nobody knows what happened to the fund. So because everybody keep asking and then nothing was happened. But many times I remember many MPs has been raised up, in particularly YB Batu Kaja, YB Sivakumar has been raised up this issue continuously, and few other MPs also, YB Kesavan, YB Karpia, YB Parthiban, many of them actually, Prabhakaran, all raised up these issues continuously on these issues, but no proper answer ever been identified in 2020. In 2021 also, from the beginning of the year, it was so called, there's not even a single minutes or any information was given out by the minister. But recently, because of the government, again, within 3 years, we have three prime ministers. So we got another prime minister, but within coalition, betrayal among betrayal, finally they have a government. Then when we have a MOU kind of things, where government to get the stabilities, finally they answer some questions. But by then, you see 49 million had been, they said, given to a particular individual or organization. It was by minister. But the minister, what the minister has failed to address is for what it was given, under whether it has been audited. And the minister also claimed that half of it he paid the debt left over by Vedamurthy in 2019, which doesn't make sense at all.
Correct.
Doesn't make sense. So 2020, the fund 100 million, what happened? Doesn't make sense. In 2021, they keep saying these kind of words. So that's why I was called as a activist, as a elected rep, and as a state ESCO member to write about it. So, in my understanding, my question is simple. As a minister in charge of the Indian affair, you have the due responsibility to make sure the fund is properly utilized. First thing, what happened to the fund in 2020? Please give us a proper report. In 2021, what's the fund? When you say you had given, for example, particular institutions or particular individual or particular political party, for what reason it was given? Whether the particular program has been done, what is the result of it? What is the outcome of the program? I believe if you don't do these kind of things, please resign yourself.
Understood.
You cannot throw a ball and then you are saying that, oh, I've done these things. It's ridiculous to us. Doesn't make sense at all. When you are given all the responsibility to look after the issue, but then even then, you are saying that no, 40, something like below even 50 million.
49.1
Yeah, I will say below even for allocation of this year, only 50% you give answer. Even then, you don't give any clarity on the answer. So that's why I urged as a minister, please go and lodge police report or MACC report, or give us a proper audited report. Don't throw answer only in parliament while the former minister is challenging her. Please issue the same statement outside the parliament, so at least he can suit, or even he challenged, let's go together to MACC officer. So
so the minister that we are speaking about right now is in charge of the Unity government, Unity ministry, not Unity government, a Unity ministry, and she's YB Halimah Sadiq. And about the money, balance sheets and debts that YB was talking about, it began in Parliament with the minister stating the claims that Mitra has a balance of 65 million, and 35 million was used to service the debt in the year 2019, which was apparently or allegedly left behind by YB Vedamurthy, the previous minister in charge of the ministry, and a 49 and currently 49.1 million was spent on socio-economic activities, and that's the one that YB was saying earlier, that we are unclear on who this was funneled to or who this fund was channeled to, right? And on top of that, she's also stated that 50.9 million has also been used to service the debt in the year 2021, which we are currently in. And putting aside the balances of Mitra, which is 65 million that she has said that it's only available, that brings us the the service debt for 35 million, 50.9 million, 49.1 million. This brings a total of 135 million, half of which has gone towards servicing debts. And half of which has gone to service debt, and almost 50 million is apparently funneled or given to an organization, entity, for socio-economic programs and activities. My question to you, YB, from the best of your knowledge, when the minister mentioned debt serviced, does she mean that it is being paid for programs that were carried out, or it was serviced, the debts, it's being serviced for the CDIC, which is what Mitra was prior? So because that was quite unclear, and everybody, it was a bureaucracy language in the parliament, and of course for viewers out there, they might not be clear on why is it called debt if it was paid for programs. So could you give us a clarity on that? What exactly is the understanding?
That's the reason. That's how these politicians love to escape themselves from the responsibility. You see, I'm also as a ESCO member in government. So even though my previous ESCO member, if they done prior to election, whatever the program has been approved at the level of government and so on, there is a LOI, letter of intention, letter of offer or something like that, program has been approved. So they will be undertaken by the government to give certain, for the particular program payable. But then, that's why doesn't make sense to me when you are saying that in 2000, it won't carry it until like 2019. I understand it's 2020, but the programs all whether it's been approved in the first place. You cannot call as debt. It's all approved program within the ministry, within the same officers, and then also within the same, is also involving finance ministry's officers. It's also involving the PM department officers who are in looking after these funds and certain programs, special programs. So it is not called as debt, which is more on a program that has been agreed, which has been done. But then when the government changed, many programs is a call from the minister, which program never been done, never still yet to carry out, they can be put stop for the particular programs. But it doesn't make sense, right? When you say 2020, 100 millions, never been clearly stated how much has been paid here and there. In 2021, it was never properly said how much has been really paid off, how much left behind. This means under Halimah term, she got a 200 million.
Yes.
She must be clearly come up for explanation of each ringgit, for what and what purpose has been utilized. And that's why there's a reason my call is, please come in clear hand, clear the situation. Don't give us, push around. the answer is still shows that very irresponsible answer. So by giving an irresponsible answer and then also unclear answer, you can't expect people behave like okay, come, we need a stable government, we shouldn't question. This is nonsense.
Absolutely.
And then remember, I don't know, suddenly these kind of papers and these issues happen when Pandora Papers,
Yes.
1,800 billions has been siphoned out without no reasons. So people are Indians, now they got some issues talk on Mitra, and somebody else. So I don't know, is it a strategy of the government to sideline the issues for us?
Understand. Which brings me, YB, to the next question. Mitra, its functionality and its purpose is to uplift the B40 Indians, right? I also would like to ask you, YB, how many T20 Indians are aware of such program which are made available for the B40s? Because I've made my own queries on amongst a couple of T20 Indians. Some of them work in cloud-based companies, softwares belonging to Silicon Valley. Some of them are CEO in the country itself, and they were not aware of such programs that are actually available for B40 Indians, because some of their staffs and employees are also B40s. So would it be better if the program had spent more time in propagating it and promoting its services for the B40? So maybe when at times like this, it will be there will be more stakeholders to discuss it. What do you think, Raji?
Yeah, definitely, it sounds great. You see, we need a brain. I mean, the well-brained people. I mean, the cream of our communities, or not only our communities. I think whatever, like a bankers, who are the top bankers in Malaysia, or maybe top accountants, and then top in the financial sectors, or even some kind of other fields. They're supposed to be running the scenarios. If it were, because it was become some kind of things is advice, because Halimah also announced that they're going to have a think tank group.
Plan Tindakan Pembangunan Masyarakat India, right?
I don't know who is the participants, who is the committee of the group.
Has it kicked off? Has the ball?
I don't have any answer, because you see, they can approach us, be part of it. That's why my question: who is the think tank group in the first place? You see, when you just now you mentioned, very good question, whether the T20 people are aware. Don't talk about T20. I'm as ESCO member of Selangor government 2 term. I never heard which NGO or which people benefited from this program.
Okay, does that mean you are also not aware, or because my next question was actually going to be who is SSF, or what is SSF? Because according to YB Charles Santiago, he has mentioned that 9.1 million from Mitra was funneled to SSF, and he had also mentioned that it was chaired by MIC President Tan Sri Vigneswaran. And Tan Sri Vigneswaran has openly just recently stated that he has no clue about what's going on, and he had pointed towards the Director General, who was appointed by YB back then, the Senator Vedamurthy, and the Director General Magalingam Maniam, who was the one that was in charge of the funds as alleged by YB Halimah Sadiq. So where are this entire where do you see the picture, where do you see the lines connecting in this picture?
No, because I saw in a media, Tamil medias, and also some of the Facebook online medias, everything, the statements after statement, because of after YB Halimah's revelation, whether it's responsible, whether it's true, or whether it's false, I don't know, but she's whatever said in 49 million, how it been distributed in a parliament. Many people, because there is also cries from the Indians, and then there is a people who allegations keep going on the other side. Everybody said they also explanation by some of them, and then there is a denial and so on. Whatever company, whatever NGOs, whatever they say, since there is no confirmation, no audit report was given, nothing else for us to say. Whatever I say today, if I say you are referring to a particular company, it has been said in Parliament without, I never saw any paper with audit report or any official statement by minister saying that this is the particular company, that this is the amount that is been released, for what the purpose of release. And the particular company, we also need a search on the whether the company belongs to whom, and the whether the company directors are responsible, whether the company has been explained. Oh yes, we received. Oh, we don't receive. Yes, we received. How much we have spent for this particular program. So all these things, before I want to blame anybody else, I think YB Halima as a minister should take responsibility on this.
Okay, so you reckon that it would be best for YB Halima to come out and probably make it transparent for everyone to know who has received the funds, and it is also reflecting back to what YB Wedamurti, Senator Wedamurti, he had said that back during the Pakatan Harapan administration, it was made transparent, right? And it was apparently it was on the website. It was published on the website about who had received the funds. The industries or the NGOs who had received the funds to carry out activities for Mitra. So you suggest that would be the best, of course, to make it transparent.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Right?
It's not like because the public is engaging with the government day by day. You see, informations become what's that? Is no more something that need to be hide. We are not talking about the nuclear power here to hide some things. So this kind of information, nothing to share, nothing to fear. If you got nothing to fear, please share what's the amount, what program you're given in your web page.
That's right. Okay. So YB, now to Plan Tindakan Pembangunan India, there's 100 million apparently allocated, and you have mentioned that there are no Indian representatives. Have you any idea, or do you have any clue who are the current representatives?
Honestly, we are in dark.
Okay.
We are in dark.
Okay. So, how do you think this does this close in on the idea of Keluarga Malaysia, in your opinion?
Sorry, the Keluarga Malaysia is to save someone from in a prime minister position. You suddenly don't know what else to say from. I only can remember when Prime Minister of the person now, Lau Yat Tu, you all know what kind of uha has been happened.
That's right.
And then now Keluarga Malaysia is to save the current government. But be it that way, every one of them, when take oath as a Prime Minister or Minister, they not only they not only swear themselves to these people of Malaysia, they not only swear to our Yang di-Pertuan Agong, they not only swear to the country, but remember they also swear to the God. Let's to be transparent, let's to be loyal to the swear, whatever the swearings that happened. The wordings of because I'm also ESCO member, I also swearing to take the job. The job comes with responsibility. Remember that. The responsibility to look after all Malaysians with fair, with reasonably. We have to take care of the development of this country, the people's development. We also swearing ourselves there will be no corruption. In the name of the God and name of the King, the name of the Bangsa, the name of the country. If those people, it can be, for me, I have no objection. There is a particular Indian transformation program is under Malay minister, Chinese minister. It's not a big deal. But whether it's being done or organized or distributed, it's not only fairly, whether it's follow the accountability rules. When it doesn't follow the accountability rules, what's the point of swearing of so many times as a minister, as a prime minister? As a prime minister, you're swearing in the name of the God. You will look after all the Malaysians fairly. Please answer me. Viewers are there. Is it Keluarga Malaysia?
That will be a question for the rightful person to answer, and we hope we too will get the right answer. And now, YB, let me just put it into a different perspective. If you were given the opportunity to head Mitra, or to be the DG for Mitra, Director General for Mitra, or to be a leader of the caucus for Pelan Tindakan Pembangunan Masyarakat India, how would you do it differently? And would you include all Malaysian Indian stakeholders, which includes also, of course, MIC? Would you? And how would you do it differently?
Okay, honestly, before that, if you can give me more time on this issue. In Selangor government, we allocated like a 5 million for Tamil school. Okay. You can see that none of my office or any of the political parties can be interfere in the allocations. So the school will apply, and based on the school students, on the condition of the school, we will be distributed all the 5 million accordingly to the Selangor Tamil school. And we also have 2 million for Hindu temples. Okay. When the application was done, we will be properly, the committee will be there within comprising myself and then UPEN. Most of them are Malay officers. We are comprised, we were dealing with the documents and so on, and we distribute accordingly. So whatever the fund, mostly we will finish up our fund 99%. Coming back to then we have a 2 million for the Indian Development Fund. Previously it's targeted for more Deepavali and Pongal. But we managed to slice it, and then we will be more focused. Like we want to help the B40 children, especially Tamil school children. So we targeted for 1,000 ringgit below and so on, the family members like estate worker children, where we give called bus fare, 300 ringgit one off for 1 year. Okay. So it's about last year alone, about 4,000 or close to 3,800 students has been received this allocation. This is about more than about million we are spending, which is more transparent. I mean, transparency is there, accountability is there, because school will apply through their PIBG or the organization, which will be checked thoroughly by our UPEN. Then also will be another check by our unit PWN, which is our treasury department, and so on. When the money is being distributed, the officers will come from the two departments, and they will be view, and they will be identify again whether this particular person, and we will distribute. Same thing goes to, we have a program that I transformed. Is one more program is help Yuran Pengajian, those from B40. The income level is 2,000 and below. When this kind of families who are getting higher learning institutions, we support them with financial support like maximum diploma 3,000, degree for 5,000. One-off payment. These are one-off payment. How we do? The application must come through from the particular individual with all the details of the parents' income and so on. Then they will be given which institution account number, all must be given. So the check will be prepared under, for example, University Melayu. Will be prepared under the University Melayu. The check will be given to this particular person. So the money, no room for any. So the money will pay to the particular institution. That's how this year alone, 280 students something, they got the fund has been distributed. In Selangor, 280 students. So about 900,000 has been distributed. So other programs, so we already cut down more on Deepavali, this kind of festival. We cut down this more spending on their particular festival programs. So you see, when we transform this way, and then we also got one program, 150,000 we allocated within the system, where I managed to done a program called Tamil school students, whoever participating international international conference or international kind of any what competitions like science, sports, culture, and so on. So when this we will give them 500 as a token, each participants. When they must be application attached to all the proper document and so on. So like now, just now I say, when I said like university students or high learning students will receive this much token sum. So there's no room for anybody play, because one person will get only one time.
Yep.
So this is how the program. Then I got a high seed program under me.
Okay.
The government has been allocated 1 million under this program. I seed means Indian Selangor transformation program also, same thing, where a business people who are doing a very small business, traders business, or kind of we call it a penjaja, that kind of business, or those people who want to just be a grass cutter, that kind of business. So what we are trying to help, how we want to help them. These people have to apply through the Pejabat Tanah, land office. From the land office, the forms will come to us, with our officers will visit. So if you are only a tailor, you are applying through the particular department. So the money, once we approve the machines, which is up to maximum 10,000 ringgit, the money we will be sent to Pejabat Tanah. Only the Pejabat Tanah will call for tender purchasing the machines. Then they will be they will pass the machine to the particular person. So they don't need to pay back. This is like some kind of booster to these people who want to be help themselves to do business, small kind of business, where you want to be a grass cutting machine, we will be give it to this machine. All is not purchased by the politicians, not by me, not by my office, through Pejabat Tanah, because the fund has been approved. Pejabat Tanah will purchase the things. Most of the times what I realize in Indian transformation program, the money are being parked, and then they will be parked with another entity, and another entity, another entity. So all the entities so-called either can be a company or NGO or individual to run the program. Mitra themselves only managing the fund or managing the situations to look like. So they will become like they themselves become like myself, UPenn, they will become like a PWN, they are the. So it's good when you have a kind of power to control and so on, but you need to be transformed. That's why my suggestion, I appeal, the Mitra is supposed to become like a Teraju, like a Yayasan kind of things, where it must stand alone under PM department or a proper ministry where it need to stand alone. And then the program that we design must be for long run. When you give me 2 million, I only can do this much. When you throw at me 100 million, you see, when we give, like for example, just now I said a grass cutting machine, I'm talking about low level. You really want to transform Indians business. Like we also got Tekun, still 20 million lying there. Nobody knows, federal government. Whether they also finish, nobody questioning also. Because many times we don't ask what happened. You see, when you want to, the word itself, transformation of Indians' life, you can't give them a grocery box and then you claim 3 million has been done.
Yep.
This is a ridiculous sounds to me. Then what about the Mantri Kebajikan doing? Welfare Ministry. He's supposed to be give everybody. What about, no, I don't understand the minister very proudly saying that, oh, I already distributed groceries. Come on, this is not your program. Right. That is welfare supposed to do for everybody. This particular program, you need to give them you need to help them in education. Indians backwards because they need a support of education financially, they become very much dependable. So if you can give them proper education, either it can be TVET or high learning, anything. Any educational will help a particular individual to grow from the surroundings of the poverty. So you want to make them, when you educate someone and get a good job opportunity, you will make sure the particular family can come up from the poverty line. Right. So how much really has been targeted for education? This one we have to study. Either can be TVET or any professional studies, or even we have to think about JPA scholarship together, tying up with JPA, how we can go into foreign studies. Then coming back about the business lines. How we have another 20, everybody forget about the 20 special allocation under Tengkun, 20 million. They want, whether they finish, nobody knows. So how to tie up this money and then with the Mitra, help the business people. Maybe we can give them special grants. Like for example, chili farmers, I don't know what happened. We also spent like 30 million. We don't know, the account also never been cleared. But you see, if we really, Malaysia still, farming business still Indians are the people from the day one. They are getting involved. I was very shocked to hear when the feedlot center, remember the famous case of this cow breeding in the Negeri Sembilan case, feedlot center? Nobody knows, and the money end up in Singapore buying condo and other place and so on. If the Indians is the real, they are very close to this kind of goats rearing, cow. I mean, we still importing 90% of this meat from outside. The money is flowing back, and then we can see now, Cameron Highland, the vegetable farming controlled by Bangladeshis now.
That's right.
How? Because I believe if you given a proper funding and a proper people, so you don't need to bring so much of foreigners. The money won't need to flow back. The money will be stuck here. So it will be round within the Malaysian community. So if the land is there, so you can allocate the land for the particular people, because when Mitra got so much of fund, you don't need to give them a land, but you can lease the land to them. When you purchase, for example, 100 acres. With 100 acres, you can create 100 farmers. I mean, 1 acre each one. You can come up with ideas. Right. Or you even can think about it like if a car, APs or something. We don't need to have APs. Come on, we're tired of the sickness of this kind of APs. But if you let them involve in a venture in a new business, get them a training. I believe so many young entrepreneurs are there. They are looking at the different kind of business today, because my age era and new era is different. Definitely, if I'm heading this particular thing, I want someone, not only someone, it can be, first thing, it must be transparent. Okay. We must be, and then we must keep welcome. We cannot limit ourselves to the particular program. We must welcome new ideas. In my days, cash is the king. Now card is the king. Okay. Cashless card is because you must understand. That one never thought in my era. My era there is no FB. Today you making YouTube is a business already. Right. So let us welcome newcomers, but then all must be transparent.
Okay. So YB, speaking on the same topic. So this was something that I thought about for a long time actually. So I was wondering, Mitra or any other race-related uplifting welfare programs, it is always talking about high skilling an individual, niche skill jobs for an individual, or even like YB mentioned earlier, grass cutting services, which is for, you mentioned it was for the lower skills and all that. So I'm like also wondering, based on what you mentioned earlier, 900,000 was spent on 280 plus individuals for the fees, for school fee, college and university fees, which you said is a one-off payment, 3,000, 5,000 one-off payment. So instead of this has been the traditional function, or this has been a principle that's been followed for a long time. And are there thoughts put into to apply probably like the Pareto's principle, where we take the 80-20 instead of channeling or funneling 900,000 into 280 individuals? Could 900,000 be spent on perhaps 20 to 30 individuals, and like you just mentioned earlier, upskill them, give them higher education, and let them all go and come back? Because regarding the same Mitra conversation, the topic, there was a report from an NGO leader, Papa Raidu, who also mentioned that he also suggested just about, I think, a day ago, 24 hours ago, that instead of funneling funds like this, 100 million, 200 million, and doing programs and activities for niche base, he suggested something along those lines like Felda and Felcra, which I felt that it was something that you mentioned. So do you think this could be implemented into the new blueprint or the plan tindakan? Because instead of putting it all out there, putting all the eggs in one basket, this is not just for the Indian community, but Malaysians in general, regardless of race or time or creed, because Mitra's programs was also based on Senator Vaidamurthy's reports that it was for single mothers. Single mothers not necessarily would only want to go for stitchings and flowerings, and they probably would also want to do their bachelor's degree and a master's. Wouldn't that be a better solution? And wouldn't that, since you also mentioned that the money can only be given with your example of University Malaya earlier, so there is transparency there, wouldn't that be the better solution instead of putting all the eggs in one basket? And correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you would have tried, maybe it has been spoken about, but what do you think about this moving forward?
Honestly, you're for me to transform the earlier program to come up, because I don't have any special vehicle like a Mitra in the Selangor government. Like I see there is a special vehicle being created. That one is my 3 years job. 3 years achievement that after many discussion and so on, it has been approved, and then this year is moving on. But for the educational program under UPenn, it was from the day one, is from the usual Pongal program, the money to be transformed into an educational program, because remember last time when the laptop is only worth 2,000, suddenly being claimed 12,000.
Yes.
We heard about it. So when people come to my office, then they're looking for these kind of things, which is I'm not keen in purchasing these kind of things. That's the reason I turn out to be make it as a more, even 5,000, let it be paid direct to the college, so I can help you with the fee, so you can use it, the rest your fund for something else. That's my idea. But then also in Selangor, because when I targeted earlier first year within the Selangor government, because it's a limited fund, they only targeted the when program was, we started only for Selangor institutions, Selangorian first, Selangor institutions. Then break from the Selangor institutions will take another battle, because like a UM is not in Selangor, it's in, so now entire Malaysia. For other than outside Malaysia, still a big battle within the UPenn, PWN and so on, because I cannot compete with the federal government's program, because then my money, the money that allocated under this particular program, honestly the allocation was only 600,000.
Okay.
So when you want to give someone who study medicine, who is studying in Moscow, who need about 500 to 800,000, how much money that from one particular ESCO member? But as a Mitra, 100 million, you can do a lot.
That's right.
And then do remember, we also must know in the Mitra offices how to tap all the ministries, other ministries' allocations. For example, that's the reason I said just now, how to tap Tekun, we can tap Kebajikan, we can tap the education funds that lying there, how to tap, like under Menteri Sumber Manusia, there's a TVET program. So when you tap and combine everything, you not only actually control 100 million, it's much bigger than the units.
Right.
I want to suggest that the Mitra should be like a one-stop center. When most of these marginalized Indians who walk into your office, you must have some kind of answer for them to deal with the problem, because each individual come up with a different needs. Okay. So we can transform. That's why the jabatan is very important, or we make it as a yayasan is very important. So when you have a solution, it's not like a solution, at least you have some kind of help that makes him feel better. They must feel when walking to your office, I'm part of this Malaysian.
Okay.
You must give the sense of belongingness. No point we give, that's why you can see that millions or even billions must be allocated from the day one, whether it has been transformed the community or not. Today you and me, mostly our education funds come from so-called biggest scholar is from the parents.
That's right.
Nobody else.
Not entirely accurate in my case, but okay.
But we see mostly only the parents are for the Indian children or even Chinese children. Mostly the parents are the They have to work entire their life. All the savings will goes to the children's education. So it happened to be if the parents are become poor and poor and poor. So when the sons come out, and he will be bound with all the debts and so on, then the living style also keep increasing, the living cost increasing. So what will be happening? So you are in the circle. So the circle is still there. So if education is being helped by the government, for example, that's why I think must be a proper government. It's not necessarily you are saying that I want to help this particular community. Not necessary. If the government can come up with the idea, those who are earning below this line, we will help them regardless of race or religion. We will give them this particular help. That will be fantastic.
Would you agree if the community is reshaped from, instead of Indian, Chinese, Malay, Kadazan, Bidayo, to talking about youth base and talking about younger generations, of course? Would it be better if the community is reshaped into based on their educational level or based on their skills that they possess, so that we would be able to easily identify who needs to be uplifted at what tier and when, and then followed by which and which, instead of...
Mr. Mohana, it's honestly a dream of every Malaysian. Be it Chinese, be it Malay, be it Indian. This is a younger generation now want to believe that way. Okay. They want to see them as a Malaysian. Okay. They want to feel as a Malaysian. That's why the Keluarga Malaysia theme is extremely so damn good. Okay. That is the theme that we are interested. I believe when I pass through your age, okay, many of us, we not only now, we are dreamed that way. We want to be called as a Malaysian. Honestly, we has been because of since the era of mostly era of a British era, when we colonial time, this divide and rule the races has been happened very systematically, Chinese, Indian and Malay. And likewise, when a political party also happened to be UMNO, MIC, MCA. When UMNO, MIC, MCA, the politically also we has been divided. And suddenly they come out with the call of, when before election they say, before even independent, we have some kind of social contract. They created such a way. Then they come up with the idea of independence and then this and that and everything. So what is my understanding is, finally we all realized we are permanently divided. Everybody can blame, oh, vernacular school is one of the reasons. Then the other world people say, no, religious school is another reason. Oh, they can say, come on, people said Singapore will become a failed state. Remember? Yep. In 1963, when it happened, people said it will become failed state. That time their money is much lower than us. They also have the three races like Malaysia. That's right. Today, in Singapore, Malay doesn't feel Malay, Chinese doesn't feel Chinese, they are Indian, but they are not less Malay than our Malaysian here. They are not less religious than from here. They are also very religious men. They have their mother tongue. Same thing goes to Indian and Chinese, everything. But they all very proudly say, I'm a Singaporean. Goes back to America. None of the American you can say they are British, or you can say, oh, all of them are British. No, never. Most of them are from the European countries, the whites, and then even Africans. You cannot say this is a particular African. They are also from the few countries.
We can just conclude the Americans with the current vice president, the previous second.
You can see that.
45, 46.
So they are today melted into call as American. Same thing goes to today UK.
That's right.
Once upon time, 2/3 of the world being ruled by them. Today you can see, London's mayor is one Islamic man.
That's right.
And they never say, oh, when we cannot have an Islamic man here. You can see the more you when you receive and accept more, it will be given you a room for the development. In Malaysia, sadly, every policy based on the particular race and religion. Every political agenda they're looking for, or they need one victim and one reason. Everybody will be saying, even it can be Indian, it can be Chinese. Oh, they only want to talk about particular race and religion, just become a champion of the particular race and religion. But when it goes to be politically, when we saw this way, a majority plays much dangerous way. Today, R&R, religious and race, become the ultimate tool in a political way in the Malaysian political parties. R&R, we have to stop it. At least the younger generation must stop discuss about these things with the emotional way. We must start adopting ourselves. Nothing wrong being born as a Indian or Chinese or Malay. Let us be brothers. Nothing wrong being you are in a different religion. And we no need to argue which God is bigger God. It sounds to us ridiculous and doesn't make sense at all. In what century we are in, we still arguing which God is bigger God, which race is a higher race. If you believe in God, you must imagine, it cannot be you may be a different religion, I may be different religion. But when you believe in God, you are not believing in something evil. So when you believe in God, you also have ideology saying that both of us created by the same God. Maybe I call it a different name. So you and me supposed to be brothers and sisters. We can be, skin color can be different. Maybe my face is different, or my language can be different. My thoughts can be different. But remember, you and me created by the same God.
Absolutely.
So younger generations' aspiration must be, as a Malaysians, we must be melted as a Malaysian. That's why I love to hear. Extremely, I'm very happy when called as Keluarga Malaysia. So, whatever trivial differences, put it aside. Our policies must be drawn not on the race and religious base, based on the needs. When you put like that, today you can remember, 1.8 trillion has been siphoned out from the Malaysia. Did any of them explain to you what is source of the income and why it has been siphoned? Nobody want to discuss about it.
Was it even broken down in terms of race in that
Yes,
particular?
because maybe this money meant for the particular people. Why after 60 over years, all the policies, centered for the particular race to help them, why still many Malay are poor? Please ask yourself. Touch your heart and ask yourself, why you're poor? Is it because of Chinese? Is it because of Indian? Like we realize now, we Indian poor not only because of the government policy, because our leaders has been corrupt. We must agree that. We must throw out them. We must also, the same people must be realized. Today, if a 1.8 trillion, if used for Bumiputra's development, remember, you can create, if 1 million for each person, you already created 1.8 million people as a millionaire. If you give 1.8 trillion divided to one person 1 million, it means you already created 1.8 million people as a millionaire.
And that would in return create more.
Can you imagine? This money has been siphoned out.
Surprisingly, YB, when it comes to the Panama Papers and Pandora Papers, they are all called millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires because they are rich. But when it comes to the poor, we are divided into Indian, Chinese and Malay and Kadazan and Midayo. Doesn't that give you a very ironic perspective onto where we are headed to, or how we have been ended up?
Mohana, I want to ask you these things. You and me, anybody out there, Ali or Achong, we still can go and sit in any shops. We can have a nasi lemak, we can have kopi tarik, we can have we have no problem. But these politicians who are staying in a 5-star, no more 5-star, 7-star hotel, sitting there, and they are talking about religion, a race, and they are traveling in a Bentley car, and some of them have a private jets, and they are enjoying under the name of the race and religion.
Our misfortune.
Our misfortune. That's why the younger generation must understand. You no need to go to London to see the beauty of the London. You can create London here. This country is a blessed country. If our country is well developed, we no need to go to the Singapore to watch our Disneyland there.
Does that mean we can also have our doctors study here instead of sending them to Moscow?
Definitely.
Okay.
If you create a better university without corruption, you won't lose our good brains to other country. If you can create, because our country is no more a third world country, our country is already become a developed country, but we are much developed in corruption.
Okay, as you've heard from YB himself, YB, it was a very fruitful discussion with you today.
Thank you.
I hope what we've spoken about, I believe it has gone from Mitra, not just talking about the Indian community, but it's also gone on to other races, and then eventually we came and ended up with Keluarga Malaysia, and you did agree that Keluarga Malaysia's idea is good, it sounds good, and there are room for development, and it just needs to be faster and holistically for the entire Malaysia. And YB, we would like to say from BBTV, thank you so much for your time together with us going live today. It was a very good interview session, I believe. We hope the same for you too, and we hope to speak with you again on the various subjects, different subjects, or anything closer to your heart, perhaps in our studio in the future if you could visit us, and we could have a longer session, maybe with more extra panels from maybe different organizations and agencies and ministries. Thank you once again. Viewers at home, my name is Mohana for BBTV. Thank you.
Thank you.